I don't often review products on this channel. To be quite honest, I don't enjoy it. The odd thing I do review is something I've bought myself which I think you may enjoy. However, today this video is sponsored by Choyong, in that they sent me this radio in exchange for a video. Now, I send companies a list of criteria when I agree to one of these reviews, and the main stipulation from me is that they have zero involvement in my video. In fact, I've sent companies items back that aren't spot on. With all that being said, let's have a look at the Choyong LC90, a radio which I think could be this year's most solid and feature-packed multiband radio. YouTubers tend to talk about Prepper, SHTF, disaster-suitable radios, and this is perhaps the most well-suited. It combines FM, medium wave, shortwave and internet radio all in one. So you've got analog FM, medium wave and shortwave for local and cross-continent receiving in the event of a major power outage if you can keep this charged via solar or another means of backup. You've also got internet radio, again for worldwide reach if you can get on the internet. It comes with Wi-Fi and a built-in SIM card, so you can access the cellular networks. I don't know of another radio that combines all of this yet. By the way, if you want to check this radio out, there's a link in the description below which is non-affiliate. It has Bluetooth and also supports TF cards, so you can play your own music and podcasts on this, as well as choose from thousands upon thousands of online stations. Online stations are categorized by region, and you can search for stations via voice commands. You can also edit and add favourite stations as well. FM covers 64 to 108 MHz, so the OIRT bands are included for the countries that still use them, which is handy here for long-range DX. There's no long wave indicated on the back, but the radio does cover from 152 to 279 kHz. Medium wave covers 522 to 1710 kHz, and shortwave covers 2.3 to 26.1 MHz. The radio also does SSB, in the form of USB and LSB, which for shortwave is a deal breaker. It sounds good too. The mid and low frequencies are emitted by a bass speaker, and the high frequencies are emitted by a silk dome tweeter. There's also a passive diaphragm and a fully enclosed sound room inside. Looking more closely at the main features and operation, starting with the front, if you press the FM button, you can access and navigate the FM radio band. Holding this button will make the radio scan the band and store every signal it receives in a memory channel. You can see the radio also supports RDS, which is another thing I always look for. The medium wave button enters medium wave, and holding it enables the same scan and save function. Holding it again enters long wave mode. The SW button enables shortwave mode, and again scan and save function if it's held, but I'm not sure how useful this is in a band full of digital modes and interference depending on where you are. BT allows you to enter Bluetooth mode for Bluetooth streaming, and TF allows you to enter TF card mode for playing media stored on an SD card. The tag button allows you to select an online station so you can listen to the wonderful Radio Caroline should you wish. There's a vast amount of genres to choose from, so there's something to suit every type of listener. The menu button allows you to search online media by country, and if you enter the search menu, hold the lang button, you can then give the radio a voice prompt, such as listen to BBC Radio or play VOA Radio. Along the top is a lock button which locks and unlocks the keypad. There's an alarm clock function where you can set time limits and schedule the radio to power off. The history button allows you to see radio stations you've listened to, and the heart button allows you to bookmark your favourite stations. The OK button is just that. The musical note button brings up a list of popular music stations. The podcast button does the same, and so does the news button. This button allows you to add streaming stations of your own. The numerical keypad of course allows you to type in a frequency. The VF button is for switching the input method when setting up Wi-Fi, but more importantly, it switches the main rotary knob between VFO and memory mode. The direction key allows you to move to the next or previous channel and pause or play streamed media. On the underside of the radio is the TF card and SIM card slots for external media and connecting to a cellular network. The LC90 can download and install software updates as and when they come out, and up to now there's been quite a few. The radio is powered by two 18650 rechargeable lithium batteries, and it comes with a USB-C charging cable. The batteries are behind this screwed down compartment. On the side are three tuning dials. The top one is multifunctional. It can be used for tuning and also selecting an option. The middle one is for fine tuning, reducing the tuning steps, and pressing it enables you to change the bandwidth. The bottom knob is the volume control, and it also mutes the radio and turns the display off when turned all the way down until it clicks. There's an earphone jack and also an external antenna jack, so you can hook up a wire antenna with a 3.5mm jack connector. Inside is a ferrite antenna for shortwave, and on the top is a nice long telescopic whip. So what do I like about this radio? Well, aside from DAB, it really does everything. When you're looking for a shortwave radio, you should always go for one that does SSB. The RDS in FM mode is also a deal breaker for me, and this radio decodes it nicely. It's very easy to use. The favourite button and auto scan and save is something I always tend to look out for. The menus on these sorts of radios can sometimes be daunting, but this menu is sparsely populated and everything else can be done from the front end. The fine-tune knob is also a bonus too, as is the display off function, which is especially good on shortwave, as LCD displays can sometimes introduce noise, although I didn't notice this on this radio. The sound quality is great too on all bands and modes, and I like the simple push buttons to access news, podcasts and music. As a newbie to online radio, it'll be interesting to venture into that whole world and see what stations are available from the tens of thousands out there. The FM, AM and SSB receiver is nice and sensitive, and the quality of the streaming side is very good. As for what I don't like, well, there isn't much. It wouldn't have been too difficult to put a record function in to allow you to record your favourite signals to the TF card. My radio froze once or twice in the online streaming menus. It's only happened once or twice in the 4 or 5 months I've owned this radio, and switching it on and off seemed to solve the issue. Maybe I just need to update the firmware again. The radio would benefit from a fold-out stand at the back for desktop use, allowing it to tilt backwards, and an SMA connector for external antennas would have been beneficial too. The last niggle is this beautiful packaging. It comes in a nice box with gold and black trim, as well as a nice secure foam insert. I'd like to have seen this money invested into a nice soft carry case to protect the radio, and a simplified less premium packaging used instead. But that's it, they're just niggly bits, and I can't really fault the LC90 at all, as an all-round, great-looking, feature-packed multiband receiver. There's lots of upgrades that have already taken place firmware-wise since its release, and I did hear talk of Spotify and Apple Podcast support in the future. How true that is, I don't know. If you'd like to take a look at this radio, there's a link in the description below, and stay tuned because in future shortwave videos I'll be using it to sniff out some interesting frequencies.